I noticed 5 young men who seemed to be traveling on their own. They were very quiet, looking around, and I thought to myself, are these young men, have they been separated from their families? Are they being transported to a shelter?
My carry-on bag was in the overhead bin close to where the boys were sitting, and I just walked over, grabbed something from my carry-on, and I just started speaking to them in Spanish, and I asked them, oh, are any of you from El Salvador? And one of them looked at me and he said, yeah, I am, and he smiled, and I said, oh, me too, I'm Salvadoran. Are you traveling with your parents? And he said no, and looked out the window. And right away there was a woman sitting across the aisle from them and said to them in Spanish, like, stop talking to her. You only talk to me, you don't talk to anybody else. So then I pressed him further and I said, what shelter? What's the name of it? I told him I was a journalist and, do you have a contact I can follow up with to ask questions? He said, no, I'm not answering anything. He wouldn't tell me his name or give me any information about what was happening.
And we also know, covering this story, that United Airlines, the CEO came out saying that we're not flying any separated families on our flights. I approached the flight attendant and the pilot and I asked, are you aware of anybody on this flight who have been separated from their families? And they just sort of looked at me a little confused, saying we don't ask anybody any questions as long as you have your documentation. So you have your boarding pass, you have your ticket, you've gone through security. After that, we're not asking any questions.
When I saw these teenagers, I knew I needed to document it because this is as close as we've been able to get to children or teens who have been possibly separated from their parents. And that's why I asked them, have you been able to talk to your parents? Do you know where they are? Do they know where you are? Do they know where you're going? But of course, the instructions are very clear from the escorts, just no talking.
And we wanted to really ask these boys if they wanted to share their story. And in fact, while Melissa was talking to them, I was texting with a frontline worker, lawyer, who's been helping some of the separated families. I think it's important to say that for Melissa and I, the reason why we approached them and pressed for answers is because when we were on the ground in McAllen, Texas, we just really couldn't get any direct answers to the state of the separated families.
It's important to note that we don't know what their circumstances are. They may have been separated from their parents and may have been unaccompanied minors and arrived by themselves, but we were just trying to find out.